challenging situations where you are demanded to perform, you're probably not going to kind of rise in your life. So the key here is to kind of put yourself in situations that are demanding and challenging. And that's one way to kind of become better. The reason why I'm speaking to this 5 minutes is because we had feedback that we don't have time for discussions.
Yep. Sorry, so I apologize.
No problem. So she'll take 5 minutes.
Okay, so my journey started when, luckily I stumbled upon Internet Society, searching Internet Society in the web. So it was like, in 2005, 6, so I just searched for Internet Society and Internet Society was there. So I joined the group and then after 4 or 5 months, I received an email from Gaurav Upadhyay. So they were trying to revive the chapter there. So the chapter in Nepal had started, but it could not move ahead. So they called for a meeting, and me, Bikram and Baburam and all these people, we went in and we co-founded the ISOC Nepal chapter in Nepal. So, and during this process, I was very young. I was in my 20s. So they were like guys, big old guys, and they would look at me like, as if, I always used to speak, but I had my voice, and I used to be the one, like always raising my hand, having questions, this, that. I was always a youth. So, and when they asked for nomination for the ad hoc executive committee, I raised my hand, but I was let down. Then one of the guy from the industry, whom I knew, he stepped down and he put my name in, saying that youth should be given a chance. So that was the point that changed, me, my whole career, my whole internet journey. And I came to Internet Society, we started, and we the journey started. And, and in 2013, I started the IGF project, through Internet Society as well. And it was like, Internet Society gave me an opportunity. I was made the ambassador in 2014 and 15. So, and then I started engaging, talking about issues, Every time I was there in a meeting, I would go prepared. So I would raise my issues, about talking about Nepal, what the developing countries were lacking, and this was the point. This was the thing that made me different. And I think this is the youthness. This is what we all want. If you want change, then you have to work on it. You cannot just come to a school and cannot just blabber around, talk around, okay, we will do this. No, come prepared. Talk about issues, share your stories. If you don't, there is no point. And just imagine, every ICANN event, we have around 40 participants, fellows, right? 40 fellows are coming out. 50, yeah. If 5 of them, if one of them reaches out to 5, look at the change that we could do.
Yep.
But things are not working like that. And with this journey, what I did was I started thinking what could be done. So I started researching, and then found out that there is no research coming out from our countries, from Asia Pacific or things like that at grassroots level. What are things? So I started researching. I started doing research. I started sending reports to things. And apart from this, to most of the fellowship programs, I've applied. Even to ICANN, I've applied for more than 15 times. And I didn't get it. I was rejected. I was not rejected once, not twice, not thrice, I was rejected, man. It's like, that's how I became more experienced. I never gave up. And finally in 2016, when I got my ordination as an ALS, then I got to come to AA.
They just want to just stop.
Right. But the energy didn't stop. I came to the meeting. I made sure every time I meet new people, I make sure I talk with them and ask them to come prepared and talk about issues. Throw your thing. Language is not a barrier. Everyone understands that it's not your native language. Right. So just speak. Even with my brother there, we talked in the morning, right, about this. So yeah, and to make things happening, I was the mentor in St. John. So what I did was I created a toolkit for newcomers.
Wow.
So it's there. If anybody is interested to share it, to use it for newcomers, it's there. It has the values. It's a simplified tool. If you can extend it, if you can do it, please. And what I say is, try working on your skills. We heard a lot about gender issues. We heard a lot about other stuffs as well. So how are we going to implement? I'm currently the secretary of APSIC. I promise, to make sure there is gender equality when the fellowship happen. And you can ask Nadira. So, we did that in earlier APSIC as well. So even in APRIGF, we try to go with all these values, and I think we need to step up, we need to buck up, we need to do the work, because we are the champions, not leaders. We are the champions and the leaders. Yeah, do the part. Please.
Thanks, Sujeet. I think the motto of never give up is actually what has really come through. Thanks for that. So before we open up the floor to the participants for questions, I'll take 2 minutes to just talk about my journey, which is actually why I came into internet governance. The main thing that appealed to me about internet governance is the intersectionality of it, meaning it kind of brought in technology together with communities. Otherwise, these are kind of worlds apart.
Yeah.
So here's a place where technology, communities, even lawyers,
So true.
Really a multi-stakeholder kind of a group is coming together. That is for me very unique, because I'm a programmer. I've worked with communities as a kind of grassroots level NGO activist. So those are my kind of 2 feet. I happen to be supported for the IGF in 2009. I landed up at Sharm el-Sheikh in Egypt. I saw the IGF, and I think some people here were there in that meeting.
Yeah.
And end of it, I decided this is a good thing, and I need to participate. I became the same month a member of the Internet Society. Then I had the opportunity to attend Mason, the school on internet governance, and that is actually a turning point. Not just because I learned things there, but I also met people there. Olivier was there, Renalia was there, and these were actually my friends who kind of said, why don't you then apply to be an ALS in ICANN? 2012 I applied, 2013 first meeting, and from then I've attended all meetings of ICANN. And this happened because, it's a fortunate just kind of happening because I got kicked upstairs into the NOMCOM. And then it is a continuous kind of a thing. Now, one of the things I found in 2014 when I joined the community, it was that South Asia was a huge, populous part of the world, but the representation of South Asia in internet governance was very limited. Except GAC, there's hardly anybody. So we were looking for an opportunity to start some kind of a capacity building initiative like the summer school, Mason Summer School, European Summer School. 2016, the ICANN meeting was supposed to be in Puerto Rico, 2016. But Puerto Rico got hit by Zika virus.
Zika virus, right?
So they moved this meeting at short notice to Hyderabad. So I said, this is an opportunity for us, because the whole ICANN is coming to India. Maybe I should talk to my government. So in the Helsinki meeting, I talked to my bureaucrats, because I come from a different part of India where the capital is about 3,000 kilometers. It is shorter for me to go to Singapore than Delhi. But I then cornered that senior bureaucrat. I said, look, this is an opportunity for us. ICANN is coming to India. We can start a school on internet governance. In the interim, I also met people like Glenn. So Glenn and I share a number of, again, intersectional areas. So when we met, we said, well, I'm in open source. He says, I'm also in open source. I said, I'm in IEEE. He's also in IEEE. I'm in Internet Society. I'm also in Internet Society.
You're married to an Indian?
There you go. So the upshot of this was
Bloody
that
copycatter.
we did organize the first India School of Internet Governance in Hyderabad, 2016, and Glenn was there as a special invitee. He's of course a multi-purpose person. He takes pictures, he takes videos, he speaks. So what else do you want? So he's been there every school from that time onwards. So I'll stop here just to say that for me it is there's one other organization like the community of Internet Governance Community, ICANN, ISOC, IGF. So these are actually organizations and processes that are not there anywhere else. I've been to a lot of NGO kind of stuff, I've been to UN kind of stuff, but this is unique. And I think all of us are privileged to be a part of this whole group and process. We have been given a lot of push by these fellowships and even NASIC fellowships, and this is a rare opportunity that many people are kind of dreaming about. So we are privileged, and we have to use this privilege to advance the interests of not just us, but also our communities. So I'll stop here. The floor is now open for any comments, any reflections, any thoughts.
Can you repeat that, because I was working?
I was saying we are privileged to be here because not many people get this opportunity. So as given this opportunity, we have a responsibility not just to use it for ourselves, but also for our local communities. See how we can kind of advance their own interests in this whole thing. So any comments? Yes,
so
Alfredo.
if I may, I've told this to a couple of you already, and you know me from some time ago. I'm not in technology, in the technology field. I'm a chemist. So by accident, my mentor, Eduardo, invited me to an ICANN meeting because I'm an ISOC member. So I went to a ISOC leadership workshop before an ICANN meeting, and he told me, well, stay for the ICANN meeting. So what happened? First day, I met Glenn. So you know what happens? You get involved, even if you don't want to. But the thing was that we had things in common. So I said, well, I'll help out.
It's a joke.
Actually, he made a video recording of an idea that I had, and on the third day, was it?
Yeah.
We had a meeting with the members of the board. And I said, me talking to the board? I can already? I'm a newcomer. I'm not even a newcomer. I'm visiting ICANN. So after that ICANN meeting, I knew that I needed to work within ICANN as a volunteer. And that was, what, 5 years ago?
Yeah.
And ever since, I've been a volunteer, I've been a coach, a mentor, and the at-large community sees in me a huge resource, and I'm grateful for that opportunity that they have given me to belong to all these working groups and all these committees. And Suada is in part here because we agree that she's an excellent candidate to become an alumni and to do great work within ICANN as well as other organizations that deal with ICANN. So you have to understand, and I think you can feel it in the air. We have to be enthusiastic. We have to have a motivation and interest. You might be shy at the beginning, but you'll find your niche. You'll find where you belong and where you can be more successful within ICANN. So please participate in ICANN. Participate in the internet governance. Something that Glenn didn't mention is that Eduardo and I went to the IGF in Mexico, in Guadalajara, and we were 2 people from North America, and we didn't have a North America School of Internet Governance. And we said, we need to have one in North America. And then we got Glenn involved, and we started working on the first North America School of Internet Governance, and we expect to have it next year again, and so forth. So it's not a matter of if I can, it's a matter if I will.
Yeah.
Thank you, Alfredo. Liana.
I think that everyone in this room would have their own story and their journey of ICANN and internet governance and all this ecosystem. I mean, that's really very impressive to know how people are starting, getting involved, and staying there, and enlarging their community, bringing that everything on local. As you said, that's really very impressive and important. So that all the knowledge that we get in different communities, we bring that to our own communities and enlarge that. So yeah, that will take a month, probably, if everyone shares their experiences and their journey and their stories. That's really a good one. I mean, well, won't go to there. But that's very important what we do in locally and sharing, and yeah, the languages are not barrier, and as Marilyn said, inclusiveness, you need to include everyone and to consider all your experiences for those old communities that they have no idea what's going on in different places. I saw, or the IGF in different spheres, because people in their background and knowledge are different. And with that technology, I'm not also a technical person, I'm a linguist and a psychologist, but I bring a different perspective. So inclusiveness, definitely, this is one of the things that we need to appreciate and bring different perspectives to our communities. And develop and share, and this is brilliant, like what we do.
Right.
Thank
Thanks, Liana. And I think that the point is very clear. We are not here to take. We are here to maybe take, but also give.
Yeah.
Yep. Joan.
Oh, great. Thank you. Hello, everyone. I'm not going to tell any bad story or. I just want to say that, first of all, I'm not a technical person either. And one of the things, how I got involved in ICANN was Glenn McKnight. Here I go tell the story. When he was visiting, he would ask me if I would like to come to the cities that he was visiting. And so I thought that was great. Except I came and talked to people, and they said, "Oh, you did really good. Can you help us with this?" And oh, sure, I can help you with this little thing. And what that request led to becoming a chair within 2 months of that committee, which then 3 months later I was the chair of the constituency. Now understand, I was still wanting to know, didn't even know what ICANN stood for. I could hardly blurb it out, never mind anything else.
So true.
So I think that there was a good point about just jumping in, and the only way you're going to retain and become part of the community is to actually jump in and learn. Because essentially it sounds crazy when you think you're going to be embarrassed, but actually everybody's in the same boat. So they understand that's what happens. They understand that it's a long process, and everyone is very willing to help. So don't hesitate on that. So I just want to share a couple of stories other than Glenn. I want to say that the first time I visited the Intersessional, I was scared out of my, I didn't know what I was doing there. I didn't know what it was about. The Intersessional, it was for the non-commercial stakeholder group, and the non-contracted party house. And I was sitting there thinking, oh my God, all of these experts, what am I going to give to this conversation, right? And Marilyn Cade, I was in this big room with all these people, and everybody knew each other, and I was sitting there thinking, oh my God, and she came over and she says, Joan Kerr, I haven't met you before, welcome. And she took me by the hand and introduced me to everyone. This is my friend Joan Kerr.
Yeah.
I just want to say that if you're in that situation, it really means a lot to a newcomer, that you already know someone, introduce them to someone, that you
Right.
talk to them,
So
let them know, let them understand that this is a process. My friend Sharif, he did a report and he sent it to me via Messenger on Facebook, and I responded, I think, within an hour. And the next time he saw me, I'd never met him, right? So I met him briefly, and he came to me, Joan, and he hugs me, and I'm like, who is this? Oh, okay. But he was just so happy that the response was there. So when someone asks you, again, try to support them if you can by responding, especially in person. So I just want to say that. And I also want to say that I thought this was a really good, well-organized event, thanks to all the organizers. And all I hear in my office is, I've got to call something God message. I got to call Alfredo. Lord have mercy, Alfredo. But every time I looked around, I was talking to Alfredo and running away from Judith. The one thing about this being a technology thing, it was also very social, and I think that's also an important element in a technology event, is that there's that social part of it and that interaction. And that's all I'm going to say.
Thanks so much, Joan. I think as far as communities go, this is an incredibly supportive community. We have to accept that. Vikram.
By something different. When was 19 years old, I started first ISP in my native place. 19 years old, but with 32 by 32 kbps bandwidth. And when I went to make a customer and I dialed, we have only 8 channels in the dialogue. And if I make a customer, and then I will be very happy to know. Okay. But after sometimes, in my native place, it's very small place. It's called Hetarais, far away from Kathmandu Valley, its capital. It's almost 5 hours drive from Kathmandu. And my journey started from there, but I couldn't make it. I totally lost at that time 15 lakhs, in Nepali currency. And I went to Kathmandu and just for searching a good job. And at that time, having a tie and board and smart job is banking. And I tried to bank, I applied for a bank, different bank. And then only I got the internship. At that internship, if I went to the bank, I will get 100 rupees in Nepali currency. Then I started my journey. And with that, my internet journey